Hey, I'm Victoria.
I'm Sarah D.
This is...
Mike V.
Who are you?
Nobody. Now, I have done a lot of things and worn a lot of hats, but right now in life, I am a professional coffee roaster, commercial coffee roaster, and a consultant in the coffee industry. And I also import and sell an amazing latte syrup, pure cane sugar from Guatemala.
Are we allowed to post that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, of course. So I'm the Mid-Atlantic distributor for Rose Syrups, which is a new product that is launched in the United States. So I'm really happy that I'm doing that right now.
So you're like a coffee drug dealer.
I am a coffee dealer. Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds so like secretly like
He sells kilos and buys kilos.
I move a lot more than
of
kilos.
coffee.
I'm over
Coffee
500,000
beans.
pounds of coffee right now under my belt.
Beans.
How are you carrying that?
So I don't carry it. Somebody else does that for me. All I do is roast it.
He's
No.
the pimp.
Is
That's
there
right.
like
Yeah, I don't lift nothing.
is there like a coffee cartel?
I mean, yeah.
Are we allowed to
So
say that?
yeah, of course. So like, if you think, well, no, if you think of like, so this world according to Mike, right? It's conspiracy theory. But if you watch Narcos, did you watch Narcos?
No.
Gotta watch Narcos. Awesome. But if you watch Narcos, coincidentally, the big spike in Colombian coffee being used in the United States was also when all the cocaine was coming to the United States, because they initially used, they used the coffee to smuggle the cocaine back then. And all of a sudden we were using like all this coffee from Colombia. So it is not currently the most used coffee in America. Brazil is actually the most imported coffee. About 70-ish% of the coffee in the United States is Brazil. But yeah, so it is, I got into that in the military, which we'll talk about, I guess, later after we're done with the, because I'm here to talk about
We have a list.
DJ stuff. Yeah.
Time management.
Which was
Brought us
cool.
a list.
So what did you do?
Man, so I'm one of those, so I guess I could start by saying like, and it's the way that I got into like latte syrup distribution. My grandpa always told me, like, if somebody asks you if you can do something, even if you can't, don't say no, don't say I don't know how, say yes and then figure it out.
Okay.
Right? So like a lot of the things that I've gotten into, I have like gotten into by accident,
Like stumbled into?
or somebody came to me with like a need and said like, hey, do you know anybody that blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, I'll do it.
I'll learn.
And yeah.
I'll learn
And so
today.
like DJ, yeah, exactly. Well, the DJing was kind of like that. And before I was a DJ, I was a photographer. And all this happened while I was active duty in the military.
Okay.
And so like I did adult industry photography and I kind of fell into that. And like it started out like, hey, I want to take a photo of my motorcycle. I built a custom motorcycle.
Right.
And then I was like, well, I want to shoot, like I need a model to pose my bike. But then it was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to pay somebody to shoot it. Like, well, no, at first it was like bikini, like regular bikini stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I'll do it. And then the owner of,
You went a bikini on your motorcycle to take a picture?
with myself, yeah, selfie. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I love it.
I was in better shape then.
I
Can you
want
show me
that on a
poses
poster.
We will. Yeah, we'll do
Okay,
it.
thanks.
Yeah. You should see me in a bikini. It's crazy. So I met the guy who owned Bayside Harley Davidson, and I was actually at Outer Banks Bike Week. It was one of the first ones they did, and he had a bikini show, and there was like 3 girls in the bikini show, and I thought that shit was whack. I was like, this is whack. Like, where's all the girls? So I went to him and I said, like, dude, you need a better bikini show. Like, you need like 10 girls. So he goes, if you can get me the girls, I'll pay you. And I was like, oh shit, really? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're gonna pay me to book girls for your bikini show? So
like a contest? Was it like a contest?
no, so like he paid me as like a booking agent basically. Yeah, it was a bikini contest, and it was
Right.
like for money. So the next bikini show they
You're a
did,
scout.
I was like a scout. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I basically just went out and I was like, I just randomly was like, hey, do you want to be in a Harley bikini show? And girls were like, yeah, fuck yeah. And that was back when like Have a Nice Day Cafe and all that shit was
yeah.
open down there. So I used to like hit up a lot of the waitresses there and stuff.
Yeah.
And I ended up booking like, well, I learned a secret. If you book 18, maybe like 10 will show up. So
Yeah.
so I learned that lesson, and then but then those girls became like, hey, do you want to shoot on this motorcycle? Now, mind you, I didn't know shit about photography at the time, so I basically like figured it out, right? So self-taught.
Yeah.
Then I met other photographers in the area who were like,
Here's some tips.
let me work with you.
Right.
So I apprenticed under like Chris Goodman and a bunch of other photographers that at the time were doing a lot of the glamour and like modeling shots.
Yeah.
And then like you said, then bikini shit ends to like, well, let me take my top off, and
Yeah.
then the next thing you know, you're producing like adult content and it pays well. So I was like, I guess this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So I did that while I was in the Coast Guard, which is crazy, and I made a lot of money doing that. And then one of my deployments, I met So we're getting into the DJ thing.
Yeah.
I met a DJ who was on a special ops team with me.
Uh-huh.
And we were deployed and we went to Greece and we had some downtime. So he said, I'm going out to a club to like play a gig. And I was like,
Let's go.
well, no, my lieutenant was like, yo, I don't want him getting in trouble because I was a senior enlisted guy and he was like a junior. He was like an E4. So they're like, go with him, make sure he doesn't get in trouble.
Right.
But in my back of my mind, I'm like, who's gonna make sure I don't get in trouble? But whatever. So I went with him to the club, and up to that point, we were watching him. He had this little mini DJ deck, like for travel, and he's like spinning and shit. And he was good. This guy was like, I'll tell you, Stephen B from Miami.
Uh-huh.
This guy was like big in Miami, and he's playing all the clubs in Miami. This guy was legit, like a real fucking DJ. It wasn't like he was just some hobby guy. So I was like, dude, show me like a little bit what you're doing. This looks fascinating. So he would show us stupid shit in the hotel room. So long story short, we go to this club. He's in the DJ booth. I was posing as his photographer because we weren't supposed to tell anybody we were there with the military.
Right.
Taking pictures of him in the booth and shit. And Steven was a wild dude. And when I tell you, Stephen B was like a physical specimen of a man. Like the dude was like The Rock. Like he's just this big, dark skinned, like Hispanic looking dude, and just like girls. Like you're always the ugly friend when you went out with him, right? So
It's not feeling like I'm with you.
So stop it.
Don't.
So Stevie B like was like, hey, jump in the booth. So we were like, the guy was giving us bottles. I mean, DJs are treated in Europe very differently than here. In the
Oh,
US. Like way fucking different. It's like celebrity status over there. So the guy's like bringing us bottles of Patron in the DJ booth. I'm like, I could barely get a damn cheese fry here, you know. As a DJ. So I'm just like, wow, free Patron. Like, holy shit, we're pouring fucking Patron out of the DJ booth in girls' mouths like little birds. They're like, bah, 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 bah. You know, we're like, yeah, bitches. So Stephen B goes up to, now I'm just feeling the vibe, and I'm like an empath, so I just feel the energy of the club,
Right.
which you'll find out later. We talk about really comes in handy as a DJ.
Right.
So I didn't know this at the time. So I'm up in the club in the booth, and Stevie B's like, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
You got this, right?
You got.
No, he's like, just watch the track because it's long enough that I could get to the bathroom. So he thought. So he leaves, and maybe if he went to the bathroom and came back, no, he didn't have a poop. I look over, and the track blinks towards the end of the track, like the last like 30 seconds or so. It blinks red. So the track's flashing. Now the next track was queued up. So I'm like, all right. So I'm getting nervous now. My heart's starting to beat fast, and I'm like, but I look over, and Steven is on top of the bar with his shirt undone, and the bartender is in her bra on the bar, and they're making out.
Like, fuck.
So I look over, and I'm like, oh shit! Now you can't hear. Like I can't yell. He's not gonna hear me. So I was like, what am I gonna do? So I was like, I looked down, and I'm like, it's on me. So I have to do this.
Be the hero.
So I was like, just do what he taught you. So like I tapped the cue button, like I was like 1, 2, 3, hit the play button. The track was like magic, like just lined up. And just like, I got lucky basically. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I just like, flipped this fucking crossfader over. And it was like a Rihanna song at the time that came out. I don't know if it was like Diamonds or whatever. But it was like a banger, you know, one of the summer hits. And all the fucking people in the club like, were like, yeah! And they threw their hands up, and I was like, yeah! And I was like, fuck yeah! And like this fucking wave of energy hit me, and I was like, this is fucking amazing! And so he's on the bar, and I'll never forget, he stopped, and he looked over at me, and he went like this. He pointed, he was like, that's my motherfucker. And I was like, yes! And then so he came back and gave me a hug, and he's like, yo, how was that? And I was like, dude, that was like fucking crazy. It was like a drug.
Right.
Like I got a high from that. And he goes, it's every time, bro, this is what it's about. And I was like, I want to be a fucking DJ. And so he was like, we'll work on it. So literally the rest of the deployment, I just DJ'd with this motherfucker. Like every day when we weren't working, I was like sitting there with his headphones and I was just spinning, mixing tracks. Came back to New York City. I was stationed in New York at the time. Came back to New York, Googled, there's got to be like a music school that teaches DJ shit. So I was like, DJ school. There was a really cool school at the time called Dubspot, which was like very like legendary, like DJs had started the school, and it was in New York City, and it was like a 3-story building, music studios, turntables, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it was like famous, like DMC World Champion DJs were teaching at the school. So I enrolled in the DJ Academy basically, and went every Sunday, got like one-on-one instruction and group instruction with DJ Esto, DJ Precision, DJ Spectacular was my main mentor. It was like crazy to sit with these guys that like he was Mos Def's tour DJ.
Yeah.
So to sit with these guys and actually like learn from them, it was like next level instruction. So I took it like I do everything. I go buck wild.
Right.
Like I don't just
All
go
in.
like
Yeah.
I don't go like I'm just gonna learn to DJ. I'm like I bought like fucking turntables. I bought an electronic mixer. I
Yeah.
bought everything. I'm like whatever the best gear at the time is. I'm buying all of it. I sold all my photography shit. I was like I'm done with fucking models. I'm done with photographers. I'm done with all this bullshit. That's a whole fucked up scene. We could talk about that on a whole other podcast. The perverts with cams was a big thing at the time, and all the bullshit.
Still
Everything.
around.
I know they are, and everything.
Still is.
Well, because it was like, and then everything became fucking digital editing, and it was like I had to be more
Yeah.
Photoshop. I was like an old school photographer with my light meter and shit. I'm like, I want to do real photography. I don't want to do graphic arts.
Right.
So I was like, fuck this shit. I'm out. Time for prints. Bullshit like that. I'm like, no, I
Right.
want money, and I'm a DJ. Which also doesn't really pay that well. We'll talk about
Not
that.
here.
Not here. Well,
Not
actually,
here.
no. I'll tell you why the
It
DJ.
depends.
It
Yeah,
does.
it depends.
It does. all
Depends
depend.
who's
It does.
that night.
It
There is gigs that pay good.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I just got into it, and then that was it. And then when I moved, I got some really cool gigs up there. I DJ'd for Robert Toshi Chan, and he was in The Departed, the movie The Departed. It was like a mob movie.
Yeah.
He was like the Asian gangster, and he owned.
You don't know that?
No.
He owned the
Asian and you don't know?
He owned the Flatiron Hotel. I forgot. I gotta make this while we're sitting here. So he owned the Flatiron Hotel, and he had Motown bands, and I did all the band breaks, which was pretty cool. So after that, I moved here to Hampton Roads and met some really cool fucking DJs like Kevin Bell and Dex and all these cool DJs that basically kind of like got me. I started DJing with them and gigging with them. And then, I basically hit the club scene. I ended up on the radio. Back then I was on Hot 100.5. And the way I got into strip club DJing was because when I moved from New York, DJs in New York don't talk in the microphone.
Right.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
There's MCs for that, right?
Right.
So when I moved here, I remember it was actually Central 111. And I remember like the owner came over to me and he was like, hey, can you get on the mic? And I looked at him like, what? And I was like, what? The what? And he's like, the microphone. And I'm like, I don't fucking have a microphone. And he's like, what? I'm like, why would I have a microphone? I'm not an MC. And he's like, nah, this is Virginia, man. Like, the DJs get on the microphone. And I was like, oh. And on the radio, at the time, I was just mixing. Yeah, I was like, what do I do with my hands?
Right.
So I just mixed on the radio, so I never got to talk. But then at their live gigs, I was starting to do their live gigs. They're like,
Right.
you got to have microphones. And I'm like, oh. So then I was talking to a guy at Hot in the production studio, and I was like, how do I learn how to talk on the microphone? And believe it or not, he literally mentioned Twist by name. He's like, go to Minx. He's like, go to Minx. He's like,
Right.
DJ Twist
Absolutely.
is a fucking master
He's
on the
great.
microphone.
Yeah.
But he used to be in radio down in North Carolina. He was
I
like
didn't know
big
that.
in radio. He did radio for like I forgot how many years, but it was a long time.
Huh.
So he was like a radio legend, and that's how they knew about him. They're like, DJ Twist will teach you. So,
Amazing on the mic.
He's
so
got
the-
a good voice for it.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah.
And so at the time, I was DJing at Pearl Club, which the owner of Minx owned, which you remember Pearl Club.
I don't remember that one. Well, that was after my time,
It,
After
I
my
don't think
time.
it lasts too long.
It was a year and a half, maybe.
I think.
Yeah.
I was out there in like 2009, 2010.
It was after that.
Yeah.
because I moved here in 10. I want to say Pearl Club was like 12,
Yeah.
2012. I was the resident DJ there and the booker DJ, so I did all that.
inside.
Yeah.
Beautiful club.
It was
Absolutely.
really- it was
well,
like
I tell you,
white.
it was too nice for this area. That's what I.
Where was it?
Over by Central. What was that? What's that street called?
It's by
Great Neck.
Great Neck. Yeah, right by in that area.
What's that? The
Oh,
French
it
place
was
right
right
there.
by my right by the vet. I know. Okay. Yeah. La Chambord. No, that's not La Chambord.
Citrus. Citrus is right there.
Citrus.
Yeah.
There were citruses there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I met, of course, the owner of Minx, and he was like, "Hey." Like I did a lot of his. I started doing his club, then I started doing his private parties. So,
Hey.
so long story short, he goes, "You should DJ at Minx." And at the time, I was like, and I remember I needed to learn. So I said, "Well, I need to learn from Twist, like microphone shit anyway." So I ended up going to Minx and meeting Twist and saying like, I am terrible in the microphone. I feel embarrassed. He's like, "You got a great voice. Like, we'll work on it." And I was like, "Okay." So he's like, "We want you to do the wet t-shirt contest on
Oh,
Wednesdays."
I remember those.
Oh,
Yeah, and the Twister,
Ooh,
the Twister stuff.
Yeah.
So I used to do
Yeah.
that on Wednesdays, and I would mix it, and also at first he would get on the mic, and then eventually he started training me, and I would
Yeah.
like started with just
I
announcing
see
the girls.
Twister.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I remember. That's
See,
That's how I
have
met
this
you.
whole gap from like that time. 'Cause
yeah.
I've been over.
Were you there for the cranberry wrestling?
I did KY jelly wrestling.
Ooh,
and
that's
that was
messy.
it was, but it was awesome. It was like the coolest thing in the world. I don't know who won. I feel he was very, very even. You know. He
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But I remember I was just about to get my boobs done or something, and I had to wash all this KY out of these dollar bills. And
Ugh.
so I sat,
Oh, gross.
like I had them in the tub, and I like brick layered all my fucking dollar bills.
He was
on
like,
them.
It's money laundering, but
Right,
literally.
exactly. Yeah. No, I had to like scrub it out, like so
Gross.
good. Yeah, it was fucking. Bleh.
That's
But
gross.
it was like $300 fucking dollars.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it was,
yeah,
like,
I'm gonna
totally
clean that.
fucking
Yeah,
worth it.
I'm gonna clean that. But
Let it
that's,
fucking air dry. Put it in the dryer. One of those like.
we didn't do
lingerie.
KY when I was there. It was just the water and then
and
this,
then
and
the
then the,
cranberry for Thanksgiving.
and
That's
then
cool.
the twister for like they would bring up like a dude's
Did we
birthday
do
or
a
whatever.
slime too?
Not well. I wasn't there that
Because I
night.
think there was two of them.
Probably.
Because someone, I think Jenny used to dress up in a referee outfit.
Yeah. Probably. I don't remember the slime, but
I wish we did that.
it was fun.
I mean, it's
Well,
cool.
so here's
It's a pain in
here's
the ass.
We could do it at GW on the liquor side. The way the stage is set up, it'd be perfect for it.
Yeah. And it would probably be something to do. I'm like
so
shit.
what we noticed about that night. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to one of the questions about why you need a DJ in the club. But part of what that was like I would DJ. So at Minx it was very different because I would DJ what the girls wanted me to DJ if they remembered to tip me out,
Right.
which most of them did.
Yep.
But a lot of them didn't. And
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
So you didn't like love.
no, I wouldn't be. I used to actually keep a list and I would sit by the door, right? And then as they would leave, I would check their name so that
Right.
the next time I came in, I would have that checkbox. So then I remember. Now I understood like.
So
Well,
nice.
yeah, and I understood. Yeah, exactly. And like, so if a girl came up to me, I was like, "Hey, like, here's like $10, whatever," because I did get a rate from the club too,
Right.
but it was less than I would normally make as a DJ. But then, of course, the tips. But I will tell you, like Victoria, there was a lot of girls that always took care of me. They were always awesome. They always remembered. But there was other girls that would get super fucked up and then always use that as an excuse, never tip me
Right.
out, but then get mad when I wouldn't play their song. One of my funniest moments when you asked like your favorite moments was I played a fucked up song on purpose to piss off a girl.
Ooh, that happened
because-
the other night too.
Because she basically repeatedly non-tipped me out. And I actually cleared it with the owner. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to fuck this. When she's on stage, I'm dropping some corny shit and she's going to dance to it." And I remember she actually tried to not dance. And I remember like the manager at the time behind the bar like pointing and was like, "Fucking dance. Like do it." And she was so mad at me. And then after that, she tipped me out.
Yeah.
But it was, but LA's, when I used to do LA's would actually let me DJ like a nightclub, which was cool. So we would do like, it was like a nightclub.
Right.
Which in Europe, a lot of the strip clubs are like that. They're like the DJ is like a DJ at like a club DJ, and he
Right.
just spins like he's spinning fucking house
Right.
music, and the girls just take whatever they do their thing. They get up and they dance, but it's not like you don't announce their names or anything.
It's
just
more like go-go dancing.
yeah, but it's like a nightclub feel. So
Right.
like the DJ is like a legit club DJ, and he's throwing a fucking set down. Like he's not worried about like this girl wants to
Right.
hear metal and this girl wants to hear fucking show tunes and this girl, it's like he's
Right.
just.
He dance the show too.
Yeah, I bet he would. I would have played it for you if you asked.
Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks about like how we have like sets and like rotations
Yeah.
and stuff because like we're so used to like start finish song
Yeah.
like but the way DJs go, it just goes right into it. And so we've tried it before, and girls are like, "What is this? Is this another
Loose?
song?"
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know.
Like,
They don't know
and
when
I'm
you
just like,
change.
just fucking feel it
Yeah,
out,
yeah. You don't
Just
know.
go for it.
right?
Yeah, you don't know the change, and that was cool at LA's that we did that. But that was like a special thing. They would
Right.
have me and Steven Dotson. I don't know if you know, he's another local DJ, awesome DJ, and he's the one who brought me into LA's. And then I ended up DJing. Me and him DJ'd LA's and Kenny's wedding, which I thought was cool too.
Yeah.
But it was like, so it was more open format, and I like that. And then, but Minx was very much like the beginning of the night. The girls would come and they would give me their requests, and so sometimes that in the beginning that made me nervous because I'm like, I don't have a lot of this shit. So like, especially like your music, you get the
Yeah.
top. Well, like most like I'm a house music DJ, right? So I don't have like a lot of rock and metal and stuff like that. So I'm just
Right.
like, I don't like. She's asking for stuff, and I'm like, so I'm like on YouTube, like, and all these like download pools are ripping music like while I'm in the booth. So I'm literally like downloading songs while playing songs and announcing girls. I got really fast at it eventually, and I still have my Minx folder, which is crazy because there's like, I'm not even kidding, like 7,000 songs in this folder, and it's like now if somebody asks me for something that's like weird, I go in the Minx folder, it's there.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
I
there.
know last time I went to Minx and Twist was working, I mean, I wasn't working there for like 3 years. He still had my folder, like on my.
Oh yeah,
music.
DJs never delete playlists.
Fuck yeah.
I got weddings from like 8 years ago. I still have the wedding folders because you never know when you're going to need them. And I remember songs based on gigs, so it's easier for me to be like, oh, I remember I played that at this wedding. Find the wedding folder rather than like, you know.
Yeah.
So I would tell you, DJs never delete playlists.
I wonder if Twist has mine.
I guarantee he does. So when I was there, I would go. So Twist had a separate setup than me, but I remember seeing hundreds of folders of girls' names on his list.
Yeah.
That like as far back as like probably he had like forever, like when he first started.
I fucking love Twist. He was awesome. He was like very good on the mic.
Oh yeah, he's where I learned. People now are like, because even a lot of house music DJs aren't big on the mic, but when I do house shows, like I'll get on the mic, and DJs are like, damn, you're really good on the mic, and I'm like, Twist, man, like strip club life. So that's where I learned it.
I mean, you have to, like, the DJ, MC, whatever, brings the vibe to the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're sitting there going, you know, blah, 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 next up on stage, it's Victoria and Sarah, and, you know, who the fuck is paying attention? You know what I mean?
Your
Like,
voice, the music,
people-
everything.
right. You know, people, they want to be excited. They're like, oh, well, they don't. That is crazy.
You're so strong.
You're so strong.
So this is like actually almost like an espresso machine, in that it's creating pressure. It's called AeroPress.
So is there like a filter on the other, like on this
There
bottom part?
is, yeah, I'll show you after.
Can you imagine trying to do that every morning?
This is how I make my coffee every day.
I am such a lazy bitch. Carrie, put in a little cake.
Or Victoria, can you pick up Starbucks?
Starbucks, good.
So this is like AeroPress. Shout out to AeroPress. Fucking love this thing, man. Like they're great on social media too. Like they're one of the few companies that's big that if you hit them up on social media, they will answer you or repost your shit.
Yeah.
So you basically just got an Americano of Liberica coffee from Malaysia. Take a sniff of that.
Oh my god.
Your coffee is, or your tea is steeped. You have
Oh my
mango
God.
black.
What? Look at this.
So yours is a little bit easier. Boop. There you go.
Oh my god.
Wait, where's my creamer?
I'm gonna get it
Where's
from
my
the fridge.
creamer?
I tried to get your attention and you were like in the weeds, so I was like, all
Drink it
right,
straight out.
I'll see you at the podcast. But
I did that too.
do you really?
So fucking good.
Yes. When I get the little packets, I drink them.
When I was a kid, I used to drink the little ones at the diner. You open them up and do shots
I
of it.
fucking love milk. Like, I will drink it straight out of the carton.
I mean, I fucked up.
What?
How do we mix this?
A spoon
Got a spoon?
or a
I
stir.
just use my finger.
Use your finger.
Do it.
Do it. And then lick your finger afterwards, but do it like real slow for the camera.
Mine's hot.
Well, yeah. 195 degrees. Is it good?
Oh my god.
Is it better than Starbucks?
I made a t-shirt for my website.
Like, okay, so Starbucks tastes like coffee flavored milk.
Yeah.
It's sweet, it's thick, whatever.
Fake.
This is like real coffee.
It is. It is.
So you need it in your life?
Expertly roasted. I'm going to change your
I
coffee
need
life.
a miracle.
I'm seriously going to change your coffee life. We'll talk about that more at the end. But yeah, that is like I said, what you'll probably never see that coffee again in your life unless I get it again and make it for you.
I'll never drink this coffee again. You
You
said
might.
1%?
1% of the coffee grown in the world is Liberica coffee. Yeah.
God damn.
God damn.
God damn.
Say no
So-
Dunkin'.
So was there like a way you like to introduce like your girls?
Yeah.
Like, did you introduce them differently if you like them more?
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, I did. Hell yeah, I did. And that's like question 4. He's like, did you like every girl? And I just wrote fuck no down.
Right?
Because my whole question is, do you like every girl that you dance with?
Hell no.
Exactly. Do you like every girl?
Hell.
No.
And
So,
they know it.
same thing.
Absolutely not right now.
So you're right. So like, if a girl was like nasty to me or had an attitude or whatever, I'd be like, next up to the stage, blah blah blah. Like I'm just gonna do
It's
basic shit. But like,
Brittany, next.
yeah, never. Next time. No, I never was like that bad. But I mean, I would like give them a basic. I give them energy and shit. But I'm not gonna go. But like, so to me, is like a DJ's like wordplay, right? For example, like if a girl was like coming out to like back that ass up, I'd be like,
Right.
like I'd be like, Victoria Bones is about to back that ass up,
Right.
like I kind of do a fun little thing,
Hell
play it
yeah,
off the
yeah.
song, because then when you drop that
A
song, the
little bit of
customers are like,
banter.
oh shit, that's like
Right.
okay, yeah, I see what he did there.
Yeah.
And so I would do stuff like that. Also, that depended on kind of like my energy for the night, the club's energy. You know, you got 2 people in the crowd, you're like, it's not as much. But when I had there were,
When it was like packed.
our Wednesdays got pretty damn busy there. And what I liked about it is they always did like 7 or 8 girls. That was it. So it was like a smaller amount because like I will tell you you asked me what my worst experience. I was gonna say, and when you asked me what my worst experience was, I got used to Wednesdays and I got really good at Wednesdays. And eventually Twist just let me announce everything.
Yeah.
He let me do the twister and everything, and he just would hang with his lady. What killed me was the first Saturday he asked me to cover him.
Wait, no
This
fucking
is
way.
important.
Did you get him? Nah, you
Oh God.
In the last recording, she fucking killed a fly on my hand.
Oh,
I
With
did.
a fly swatter. And it went and fell on my phone.
with your
Anyway,
luck, lady.
Did I get it?
Yes, and it's on my phone.
I got it. Oh my God. Oh yes.
He smacked it off my hand.
I didn't want it to fly away.
Your luck lately. I wouldn't let her swing nothing on me.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I don't even. I need like some fucking bubble wrap and.
We're gonna,
This is why I never leave my house.
we're gonna decurse you soon.
this is why I always go to her for recording.
So we went Saturday. They asked me to come in, and I was like, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And like literally, there was like 27 girls, and they just kept coming in with all these requests, and the list just kept getting bigger. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute! Like, and I'm trying to do the order because I had to set the order, and I'm like, holy shit! And then girls are like, I don't want to dance before her. I want to go after her.
Right.
I'm like, oh fuck! And it was just like so overwhelming. And Twist was out of town, which is why he asked me to cover him, and that made me so that anxiety that night. Like, it was fucking crazy.
Do they still do it as like when you go in? So like I used to go in at 8 o'clock, right? So I'd be on stage at 8, and then probably like 8:30, 8:45. But then like as the girls started coming in, it just pushed me further back. So I'd go on stage like twice between like 8.
So I only did like a couple Saturdays, but like I said, on Wednesday it was easy because the girls were all there about the same time, and they would like, it was a small crew, and it was like to me it was like I thought the elite crew of Minx, like I always thought it was.
Yeah, right.
And it was like, because they would never put like newbies on a Wednesday, and then all the girls would do decent. And I mean, I had people that used to come out just to see me DJ. Like they would come to Minx, they're just like, yo, it's like a party atmosphere, like it's like a house party.
That's what
and
you
they like that.
need at a strip
And
Any club.
why is any any club?
and so we talk about how the scene has changed, and that's really what. So one of the things that's killed the DJ community is COVID. And this is one little fucking gnat, man. One of the things that killed it.
So good.
COVID is he's trying to get in there. COVID is it brought number one, a lot of DJs stopped DJing because of COVID.
Right.
I actually retired from DJing right before COVID, 2019 summer. Did my last gig at Lunacy. I was like, I'm done with the club scene. You know, I had already left Minx before that. Actually, I left there right before my daughter was born. And then
Little babies.
Yep, little baby summer. And then I went to, I did a big show in 2019. It was like an anime convention. It was like thousands of people. I did this big rave.
Next time he does
And
a
that-
DJ event, we should go and be the go-go dancers.
All right, I'm down.
I can make that happen.
I'm down.
We can do
Yeah,
that.
and we can be like, oh, they're from the podcast.
Yeah, we can do that. So November, I got up on stage and I got very emotional during my set. It was just awesome, and it was like I realized like probably the biggest crowd I'm gonna play in front of, like especially like locally, and I wasn't looking to be like a tour DJ or anything.
Right.
So I just basically grabbed the mic at the end of my set, and I was like, "This is my last set," and I was like, "I'm retiring," and everybody was like, "What?" So of course the crowd knew me. This is the second time I played that show, so people were like, "No, do one more, do one more." So actually,
Oh, cool.
I promised one more at the end of the show. The promoter put me on spot on stage, and I promised one more. That was probably one of my coolest DJ moments ever, because just that amount of love from the crowd and the energy of that many people is fucking insane.
Right.
Like, it's the closest I got to that drug hit in Greece. That started me. Like, so then I was like, fine, I'll do one more. But then 2020 was COVID, so they didn't do the anime convention. So they finally redid it in 21. I hadn't been DJing for 2 years, and the promoter called me and he's like, "You're on for this convention, right?" And I was like, "No, dude, I'm done." And he's like, "You said one more." I'm like, "Yeah, I said one more the next year. It's been 2 years." He's like, "Well, I'm sure you'll be good. You're doing the show." And I was like, "All right." So I did it, and it was amazing. And then it brought back a lot of that shit, and I was like, "I gotta come out of retirement." So at the time, I was DJing under 401k, which was my DJ name. that was actually a stab at my ex-girlfriend, which was like, it was a joke that kind of carried itself.
Right.
And then I came back recently under Mikey V, which is, that's what I was doing, podcast. So when I left radio, I left DJing and radio and everything kind of at the same time. I got into podcasting because I loved podcasting. So I had, me and DJ Chris Alani had a comedic podcast, and then he dipped out of that. So I closed it down. I did Kevin Bianchi and Big Vino Baker, and Shelby McPherson. They had a podcast for a while, a comedic podcast. I did their podcast. I produced it and was a guest, like a host. And then I did Spartacus Fight League, the MMA league. I did their podcast, Spartacus Radio. So I love doing that. And then that brought me back. So I was like, I'm just going to do Mikey V now. And so I say I left the nightlife, but then I came back to the nightlife. And really this year was when I really started doing clubs again.
Yeah.
So I've been doing, different clubs in the area.
I know you came into the club not too long ago. Is it different from like when
Yeah.
you used to?
Yeah, so I noticed it was there's no DJs anymore. I think Nick still has Twist, right? I would think.
Last time I went there, Twist is there, but not full time.
I don't think there's like a DJ. I know like the clubs you guys dance at, there's no DJ.
No, it's all Spotify.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Right.
but there isn't like a DJ.
No.
So
No,
I noticed
not like studio.
more of a subdued vibe in the club. Like it didn't have that like house party atmosphere, and whoever was announcing, it was more like technical, like almost like a recorded announcement, like next up is Jenny blah 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 and blah blah blah. Like okay, like there wasn't a lot of hype, there wasn't a lot of energy.
It's like
so,
that in a lot of clubs now.
Yeah, and so like I felt like it was kind of a lack of that. I wasn't really paying attention to it, and I kind of felt more like me and my boy were there to party because he's getting married and it was like his little going away thing.
He was great.
He's awesome, dude. I think y'all changed his fucking life. No, he had never been to a dance club.
He's
like
like,
that.
I know a girl for you.
I was like, I literally like when he said that, I literally texted her immediately like, please tell me you're working tonight. She's like, yeah, and I'm like, we're coming.
We're coming in.
That's awesome.
And what's funny is I had not, so oddly enough, right? I had not been in a club since I left the last night at Minx, which was like 2017, 2018, something like that. And I never had gotten a lap dance. Ever. All that time working there, I never, because I felt weird mixing business and pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the other side of it. So it's like when you see behind the curtain.
You're like,
well, also like I see all the girls' drama and shit and
You're
fighting
like,
and
You
this
know
and
them
that.
personally.
Yeah, I knew all of
Right.
them. So I'm just like, so it felt weird to me, like almost creepy to be like, hey, you give me a lap dance? So like,
You know your baby daddy just left you.
Yeah.
But-
yeah. I know you're begging for a ride home later, but like, hey, let me get a lap dance. But then like the last time I went in to see her, I actually was like, yo, you're gonna give me my first like
Right.
lap dance, which is fun.
How
So,
was it?
like,
Let's rate it. So people
I
can
was a
see
10,
me.
10 out of 10. It was 10 out of 10. Yeah, I was like a big. She knew I was like big kid in candies. I was like, this is. How did I never do this before? This is so much fun. No, she does. She's great.
You're that
So-
10 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
10
she's
out
great.
of 10.
So it was a lot of
Top
fun.
notch.
Yeah, and my friend will also vouch for that. So
10
he's
out of 10
super
again.
happy. 2 10 out of 10.
We should rate us. We should have like a little
Yeah,
tally bar.
Right.
yeah, like Yelp, but for
Fucking
dancers.
sucks. So no more.
Yelp, we'll call it Yelp.
I don't know. We yell at a lot of people.
This is true.
But no,
You're like this. Yeah.
so no, yeah,
You're gonna die on the podcast?
no. So that was, so I noticed that vibe was like kind of chill. So me and him were having a good time, but like there wasn't like, I don't know, when I used to DJ at the club, I felt like the crowd was more like grouped
So-
together, like
well,
almost
so
like
when-
a club, you know?
Yeah.
Well, when you were DJing, that's how it was. Ever since COVID happened, everything has fucking changed.
Yeah.
Everything.
I believe it.
Like even with social media, like
Yeah.
websites, OnlyFans, like all this shit.
Yeah.
Everything has fucking changed. Because it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can get like one-on-one like time with girls, but then it's not really personal.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the point to take them back in VIP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, you don't even have to go back there and dance. You can just, it's quiet. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do that a lot.
Right.
Yeah, it's one-on-one time.
But ever since COVID, I mean, even when I started dancing in like 2007, 2006,
Yeah.
God damn, it was different. Like you had people that were just like, every song that came on, they're like, you know, like,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
getting money.
It was
you
crowd.
know.
Well, so here's the thing, and this is what DJs bring to the table, right? A good DJ, knows how to read a crowd. A good DJ knows how to feel the energy in the room, right, and then whip that energy into like a froth.
Right.
I brought up Steve Dotson, and the reason I brought him up, like when I first moved here, that dude could start a fight in a club with music. Like he was that. Like, no, seriously, I'm not even joking. I remember, like, no, I'm not even joking. He did it one time. We were in the club. He's like, "You want to see a fight?" Joking around. Like, I was like, "What?" And I just moved here from New York, and again, I was like pretty new to DJing, so I didn't think. I was like, "Nah, you're kidding me." He goes, "Watch this." Yo, in 3 songs, he had dudes pushing each other on the dance floor, and then he brought it back down. And I'm like, "Yo, that is like crazy crowd control." And I will say, like, I learned crowd control from him, watching him, because you feel the crowd, you feel that energy, and like you said, you want to hype that crowd up because that's how they throw money, right? So also, like, it's a balance of playing what the girls want to play, right? But also playing what the crowd wants to hear and what's going to get them going like this.
But also at the same time, if you are a good dancer, no matter what fucking song is on,
you're right.
You can dance.
You know, I don't give a shit what it is. If there's money being thrown at me,
I don't think it was you. I want to say I thought it was you because. So one of my greatest moments in strip club DJ history was when a guy came up to me and he put a $100 bill on the DJ booth, which I would get tipped for songs, but not that much.
Right.
And he goes, play Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll get it in when I can. He goes, no, I want to hear Lil Wayne, and I want to hear a lot of it. And I was like, so then he took another 100 and put it on top of the 100, so like $200. Now I'm like,
absolutely.
Whoa.
Wait, it is.
Wait, so I think Chris was the manager at the time. It was either Chris or Whitey, I can't remember. But one of them was down, and I said, I like grabbed the money and I go, yo, this dude wants to hear Lil Wayne. And I don't remember if it was you, but it was like one of the dancers that danced to more like rock and metal and stuff like that was up next. And I was like, I literally went in my album and searched Lil Wayne and pulled up like probably 30 songs. And I'm like, this motherfucker's getting a Lil Wayne mega mix.
Right.
And I did like a 15-minute Lil Wayne mega mix. Just mix. And some of the girls at the time, the one that got on stage went like this, like, what the fuck? And I held up the 100 like that. And she goes, oh, okay. And she went out and killed it. But it wasn't like what she asked for. But like you said, a good dancer, like she went out there and she ripped it and I actually gave her some of that money.
Right.
And I don't remember if it was you or like who it was.
Work together.
Right.
Because my thing is, look, I know you don't want to hear this shit, but this dude does. But also, he was throwing ones on stage while I was playing his music.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I feel like a lot of people request music but don't tip to it.
Yeah.
So I'll be on stage and be like, did you fucking request this?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you gonna tip to it?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna dance?
Yeah. Were you there when the Insane Clown Posse?
Yeah, I danced for them.
Yeah.
I danced ICP and they tipped the shit out of me.
I DJ'd that night.
Yeah.
And I actually, so when they walked in, they were being like super low key about it. I actually played one of their tracks while they came in for you. And that's right, that was you.
Fucking tipped the shit.
And you know, he came over and shook my hand and was like, "Yo, thanks for doing that." Because it wasn't even like nobody came over and was like, "Yo, that's Insane Clown Posse."
They didn't have makeup or anything on.
Yeah, they were just like regular. They came in like regular dudes.
Right.
And then I recognized him, and I'm like, oh, "That's Insane Clown Posse."
Jenny brought him in.
And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yo," and I dropped his track, and it was like they looked over, and they were like. And then he came over and shook my hand. He was like, "Yo, that's
Luckily,
cool."
I have an older brother.
Yeah.
And I did some ACP song.
Yeah. I'm old, so I knew them. So.
I went through a phase.
Yeah.
We all did. Well, I'm still going through one time. So that's how it changed. And I will say, like, even the regular club scene has changed.
Right.
I think, too, like, we talked about this, but younger people are not into clubs as much. Like, this younger generation.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was 18, it was a rite of passage to go to the Titty Club in Jersey. Like, you went, right? I was a firefighter at the time, and I remember right before I joined the Coast Guard, all the older firefighters, 25, 30-year-olds, when I turned 18, we went down 73 and we went to this, I forgot the name of it, but it was like a go-go place in Jersey. Mm-hmm. And that was like rite of passage.
Right.
That's not a big thing anymore.
Right.
And like, I look back on like how big of a deal that was when you turned 18. It's like, oh, we're going to the Titty Club. Like kids nowadays, because we didn't have the internet.
Right.
Like now I can go like, I want to see caramel sauce on titties and then like, whoop, and pop it up, right? You can't do that.
We're looking that up later?
Yeah, you can. I have caramel sauce. No, when I was a kid, before the 90s, you didn't have that, right? You had to like dig for your dad's Playboy magazine in the bathroom and like hope you could find it in the magazine, right? So like it wasn't on demand. So like going to the club was the way that you saw titties.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the kids don't appreciate that nowadays.
Yeah.
And also like even regular clubs, like the nightclub is older. If you go to a nightclub, it's older crowd.
Right.
Like younger kids, they're not big on like they like music festivals and they like house parties.
Right.
They're not big, and COVID has really brought the house party thing out.
Right.
Because people were doing that.
Yeah, I don't think girls like. understand how lucky they are to have an actual DJ. When I started dancing, it was the jukebox.
Yeah.
So you had a time. I started. At
Did you have to pay?
Yes.
You had to put in
I
a
had
time.
to fucking pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to put my music exactly how I would hope it would play.
It would line up
And
to.
sometimes it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Some random song comes
oh,
on.
if I go on stage, okay.
Could customers go and fuck with it too?
Yeah.
Sometimes they can
I
skip.
think at Mermaids, they
yeah,
had the
Mermaids do too.
jukebox.
If
Yeah.
you paid extra, it would skip and put.
But see, when I DJ'd at Minx, Mermaids had a DJ.
Because Minx has it in the VIP room.
Yes.
Okay, Minx had a DJ. Obviously, they had them. I think Minx at the time had the most like DJ centric club. Like that,
Yes.
they really relied on the
really,
DJs.
I really like the
LA's
setup. He's like up
Yeah, it was like a real
up
DJ.
in
You could
the
see
air. You
everything.
could see the whole
I saw it.
When
entire
we went to
thing.
the one in New York, you couldn't see the DJ.
We didn't
but
even
there
know-
was cameras.
Yeah.
We didn't know where the
They
DJ
were
was
upstairs.
at all.
Oh, okay. See,
It
I
was
saw
crazy. It was like a movie theater.
I saw some wild ass shit from that DJ booth. Boy, I saw everything.
Right.
I like, he's a guy called a God's Eye. I could see everything.
Right.
I probably saw stuff people didn't want me to see. I saw stuff I didn't want to see.
Right.
But Mermaids was also like they had like Jimmy DJ 727. He was
I
good at
remember him.
Mermaids.
He was nice.
Yeah, he did Mermaids a lot. He's the guy that brought me in, and I did a guest night with him. And then I do remember LA's had virtual DJ for the most part, and there was like a Latin dude that was there, and he would get on the mic. I can't remember his name. Remember his name?
I remember his name. I just remember working there and finally requesting like rock, and everyone was just like, "What the fuck?"
So they had a good
is this?
library of music, but the thing was, it was auto D. So he didn't actually like DJ.
Right.
He would just like
Press button.
kind of the same thing. Just select the song out of virtual DJ, and then he would. But he was very good on the mic as
Right,
well.
right.
I actually learned quite a bit of mic stuff from him as well. But she appreciated good DJs, so she would bring me and
Yeah.
Dotson in, and we would DJ like club style,
Right.
which was cool. Now I thought the door.
That's
opened.
good.
So anyway, that's how it's changed, and it's like I think what's happened is too, COVID created a lot of these bedroom DJs and these like DJs that like got bored and they just bought equipment and self-taught themselves,
Right.
and
Same with
then
dancers, though.
but then
See,
they're not very good,
Yeah. Like.
but then they're getting booked
Yeah.
Right.
because they're cheap. So here's what's happened. The DJs in the 1980s, and I'm not even joking you, the standard club rate for a DJ hasn't fucking changed to now. We're talking like 30 years, and the DJs are still making $250, $300 a night, like the same amount to do a nightclub. And it's like, why are we not getting, you know what I mean, more
Yeah.
money than we were getting?
Right.
Because the problem is there's a bit of a fame that comes to being a DJ, right? There's a bit of you're like center of the crowd and everybody sees you. And
Right.
so then people want that. They want that hookup. But they also think that like DJ life, they're like, oh man, like people used to always go, dude, you work at Mix, you must get fucking laid all the time. I'm like, no,
Right.
at all. In fact, they cockblock me half the time. No, that actually happened to me once. So I never hooked up with any of the girls. And I
Right.
think part of the reason I was successful there was like
Because he did.
I never flirted with you guys.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a scumbag. I like brought them coffee at the beginning of their shift,
Right.
and I was cool with them, and I'd always be like get to know them as a person. But I wasn't like, what are you doing later? Trying to be a fucking creep. But then like I remember some girls would cross the line. Like one time I drove a couple girls home after work. They needed a ride, so one girl got my number, and it was a girl that I didn't even like. I wasn't even close with, but she got my number from one of the bouncers. And I actually was like, I met a girl and like she stayed over and we were sleeping and it was like 4 a.m. and my phone rang and I picked it up and I'm like, hello? And she's like, hey, I'm at this party and I need a ride home. Like, can you take me home? And I'm like, who the fuck is this? She's like, it's like fucking Bubbles or something. I'm like, what the fuck? And so like I hang up the phone. The girl's like, who the fuck was that? And then I'm like, oh, it's like a dancer. She's like, fuck this, I'm out. Like she literally like was like,
Oh.
I'm not dating a guy who has fucking strippers calling them at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's not a normal thing. But I understood
Right.
what she was saying. Like she was like, fuck
Right.
this. Because there's a perception of
Yeah.
like, but what's crazy to me was like the majority of the dancers, and I could speak like, because you're like straight edge, right? Weren't into like partying and drugs and shit like that. Most,
Now they are.
obviously, a lot of them are. But I would say
Right.
there's a lot of girls that it was a fucking business transaction. And they were
Absolutely.
smart and they knew how to fucking manipulate the system. They came to work, it was a job. They had a fucking man or a husband or a boyfriend or whatever. They were faithful. It was like business. Same with
Yeah.
models. Like there's models that go to shoots that are like full on porn shoots and they're professional. Right? When the first porn star that I ever photographed was the most professional fucking person I ever worked with. Right?
Yeah.
But then some of these like TFP girls were like dirty birdies, man. And they're like, yeah, they were dirty birdies. And same thing with the dancers. It's like some of the most unprofessional ones are the most
Yeah.
unprofessional
See,
ones.
I'm happy you say the business thing because you probably think this too. We have stuff to show for. You're
Right.
like, there's so many girls that make decent money,
Spend it.
don't have a car,
They don't have a car.
They invest.
little apartment. I'm like, what?
Those are the ones that call people like me at 4
I
a.m.
got
and get
new
rides.
kids.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I bought 3 houses.
Right.
Like, where? What?
But see, the thing was, but it's funny because like we became friends from that
Yeah.
environment. But that's because I didn't look at you as a dancer.
Yeah.
I looked at you as
Right.
somebody taking advantage of a business as a business person.
Yeah.
Right.
You were like, I'm taking advantage of this DJ shit. You're taking advantage of this dancing shit. We're both doing well.
Right.
Like, but the girls that were like doing drugs and doing
Yeah.
stupid shit and spending all their money on dumb shit, like those are the ones that either A, burn out, B, they ain't definitely be friends with me. Like,
Right.
and those are the ones that I couldn't stand.
I just think if you're making money, you should be Ubering every day for 3 years.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. It's one thing if you like have a car and you want to be responsible because you know you might be like drinking.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's so
Absolutely.
But
different.
it's like when you're like bumming rides at the end of the night.
But
it's
you know
like,
what?
Girls have nothing
But here's
to
the thing
show
is girls.
for.
Here's the thing is that the girls that come in and get super fucked up on their shifts to me
Ooh.
are unprofessional. But the same as the DJ. Like I know DJs that do that. I know DJs that go to bars and their tab exceeds what they got paid from the club. And I'm like,
Yes,
why
they
are you
always
fucking
say
DJing? Like, what's the point if you're just gonna drink your tab? Like,
right.
and some bars will give you like a $50
Yeah.
tab or whatever as a
Right.
DJ. And you know what I do with that? I give that away. So like
Yeah.
even at Nick's, I used to like if I saw a dude sitting there, and especially if he's throwing money, I'd go over to Whitey and I'd be like, "Yo, send him my
Yeah.
shot."
Right.
Because like, or somebody would buy me a shot,
To
and I would
assist
send
it,
it.
yeah.
I would send it out to or I'd give it to the girls.
Right.
Like if they were cool. But the reason was like girls like you came in professional, you did your job, you went home.
Yeah.
Right.
Girls that came in and were like, like
They
all
came
fucking
in
sloppy drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're drunk when they came
Yeah.
in, and I'm like, how are you going to function?
And
But-
it's crazy to me because these girls make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like,
When I
know.
visited you,
do I need
visited
to
you,
pretend to be like sloppy?
no,
And I can't. That's the thing.
Right.
That's why I do so
no, because
bad
like
over there.
here's the thing: when I visited you, right, we went back and did the dances and stuff, right. So when I came out, like she had to go dance, so the
Uh-huh.
other girls in the club saw that I
They're
had
like
been
vultures.
in private, like vultures. So they're like, "Ooh, he was in private. I'm gonna come back and." But I'm like, but they don't know. But I'm like, bitch, I know. Like I know. I've DJ'd for 1,000 versions of you,
Right.
So I know you. And then it was the sloppy ones that would come over,
Always.
and they'd be like this. They'd be like, "Hey, you want to go back in private?" And I'm like, and it was like a Simpsons character, and I'm looking at them like, no.
I know a girl that reminds me of Paris Hilton from South Park.
Yeah, like,
I know it too. You know who I'm talking about.
yeah, the Paris Hilton, that's the best.
Oh.
And they were like, you want to go back in private? And I'm like, I'm not that guy. Like, I literally told him, I'm like, I'm friends with Victoria. Like, I'm here.
They
to,
hate hearing
I'm like-
that shit.
and I'm like, I'm here to hang out with her, and that's it. Like, I'm not
Right.
here. I'm not the customer.
Right.
Like,
Read the room.
beat it.
yeah.
And then my friend ended up he fell for that shit.
Oh, well, it's his
And I
first
mean-
time.
No, I know. And,
Right.
and so, but I let him. I let him. I'm
Yeah.
like, go learn, son. Go learn.
I do think it's okay if girls drink.
Right.
Like, but they still do their job.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get other people paid for it. But the girls who, like, get sloppy, falling over, and
No.
have to pay for their own shit,
Right.
What's the,
why are you there?
what's the
Yeah. And I mean, like, luckily, there hasn't only like been so many. There's like, I mean, there's been nights when I was dancing and I would get like fucked up. I mean,
And I'm waiting to be like, do you need a
do you
ride?
have a ride?
Do I need to take you home?
right?
But I mean, that would be like, I mean, I would drink every night at work when I was dancing, but like, I mean, there was times where I would get really fucked up.
Yeah.
But I think I went through.
Yeah.
I think I went through phases though.
Yeah.
Like I think there was like just a time, like there was like 5 years ago, I was just like drinking every single fucking
Yeah.
night, and I was like, ugh. I was like, these girls are so much younger than me. Like,
Yeah, self-awareness. I need to
like
stop.
I need to act my fucking age. Like I'm just going out every night. I'm drinking
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I can see like these girls going through phases and shit. But there's like some people that
new
it's just
ones.
like every night,
Yeah.
right? The new girls that like don't kind of really get it. I mean, there's some girls that
I had DJ nights where I'm not gonna sit there and say like I'm holier than thou. I obviously partied
right,
when I was
absolutely.
a DJ. Dude, there was a night. One of my favorite stories was like I DJ'd at Granby Theater, and I used to be one of the residents there.
Mhm.
Like all their big parties. I don't even remember what, like if it was a New Year's or like a Halloween. I don't know what it was, but I got so hammered.
Mhm.
I woke up in the Hilton, right down the street,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Nice.
and I woke up and I'm like, I woke up in a hotel room by myself. And I'm like this. I woke up like, oh shit. I checked my kidneys. I'm like, did somebody fucking steal my kidneys? Then I'm like, did I take a girl here? Like, what happened? Like, what happened to me? And this was like back, I would say, probably about 2.5 years before my kid was born. So I was going a little harder in the paint, when I was DJing.
Yeah.
I was so scared, and I came down to the desk, and I'm like, hi. And the guy's like, can I help you, sir? And I'm like,
How did I get
I don't know how I got here. And he's like, oh, are you the DJ from last night? And I was like, I am a DJ, yes. And he's like, you're good, man. Your car's in the parking garage, all your gear's in it. He's like, they took you from the club and like deposited you here, and like we parked your car. I'm like,
Oh,
I
that's
fucking
nice
love
of
these
them.
people. Yeah. So like the crew at the theater at the time was like so dope. And I was like, and that was like kind of one of my awakenings too. Like I'm like, and by the way, I had about $20,000 worth of equipment in my truck. So I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
be risking that shit. So you learn, but you're gonna have those nights, but also I felt comfortable at that place.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't do that at a standard gig, or especially like my first time being at a gig. That was one of those, like, it was like home to me. And I was like, hey, and then the owner was like, yeah, you can drink and this and that. So like, we did get out of hand. But the thing is, you also have to have that maturity to look at yourself and go like, this isn't safe. I can't keep doing this. This is my job. Like, this is how I make my money.
You know how often I hear, well, I can't work unless I drink. I
Oh,
mean,
Yes, I will say that.
well, I mean, a drink is different. Some of these girls have to be like plastered
To do
before
it.
they're nice.
To do it, yeah.
They have to get plastered. I mean, like, yes, sometimes it's really fucking hard to be at work and not have a fucking personality. Like if it's slow, if it's just or if there's people there but nobody's tipping, like you have to make your own fun. And like, unfortunately, drinking is
Well, you're a performer.
right. And so, like, if you're not feeling it, people aren't going to feel it. But, I mean, if you have, like, that personality shot or two, you start feeling a bit better. But
it's just
personality shot.
That personality shot ends up
sloppy drunk.
sloppy drunk.
Becomes
But
like
that's
personality
like
10 shots.
Yeah. It's like, that's awesome.
But see, it's crazy because like as a DJ too, we say when you DJ for a room with 5 people in it, right? When the club first opens, you DJ with the same energy as if there's 500 people in it. And good DJs will do that.
Right.
I've DJ'd empty clubs before. I mean, we all have. If you did it long enough, you're going to DJ a bomb night.
You should dance like that too.
People. But same thing, you should dance because my good thing is like you don't know who's going to walk in that door, and if you're like up there like half-assing it, people are going to walk. I saw people early nights, like at Minx, walk in, see somebody half-assed on stage, and then, or the girls wouldn't come out because they'd be in the back, and then they'd see like 2 girls in the club, and they're like, they'd be like, I'm leaving, and they leave.
Right.
But I'm like, if they walked in and saw vibe.
That's what happened to me on Saturday. I went into bartend at 7. There were no girls, so there was this one customer in there. As I was coming in, he was about to leave. And he was like, "Oh, you're coming in?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm gonna stay for a little bit." So the girl that was bartending before me, I had asked her. I was like, "Did we have any girls?" I don't know if she had any. I don't think she did, but she was sitting with one of her bar regulars, and the guy that stayed, he was like, "So who's gonna dance?" And he was like talking to the girl that bartended before me. She was like, "Oh, I don't dance." And I went up to her. I was like, "Girl, let's make some fucking money." So I went up to this dude and I was like, she's gonna get on stage for a song. I was like, do you want to tip her? I was like, let's tip her. He put out $100 bill, and I was like, do you want me to go with you to the stage? And he's like, yeah. So I sat there and I put the money like in front of him, and I just took a little bit. And I was doing this. He's like, is that all you're gonna give her? I didn't want to just like,
of course,
I didn't want
take
to
his whole stack.
I didn't want to assume it was going to be all for her, but he was just like, keep going. So I gave her $100, and he was like, are you gonna get on stage? And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so he gives me another $100 to go, for me. I danced a fucking one song in sneakers.
Yeah.
And I got $100.
But you know what you provided him? An experience.
Yeah.
Right? And that, to me, when you go to a club like that, or you go to a go-go bar or a titty club, whatever you want to call it, you go for an experience. You go for a story.
Yeah.
Like my friend that I brought in has a story.
Right.
You know what I
It's
mean?
a memory.
Exactly. And then you don't just go to just kill time. You go because you want a story.
Right.
So you provided an experience in a dead club, which actually was probably better than if it was busy.
Right.
And that dude left there like, yo, that was like, you feel VIP. You feel like they went out of their way.
Right.
And you feel like you spent your money
They're
on
not they're not dancers. I got the bartenders on stage.
And then, but that's an experience and a story, and it's like you pay for that experience.
He spent $200 in 10 minutes.
That's why people go. People don't understand. A lot of club owners don't understand this, especially if they have like a VIP. people don't get a VIP because they want, some people are introverts and they want to be separated, but for the most part, they want VIP because they want an experience. They want the bottle with the sparkler. They want the girls. They want to be separate. They want a peacock, right? They want that, like, everybody look at me, And some club owners, I will say, they understand that and they set up their VIP that way so that it is an experience because you're spending whatever $400, $500, $1,000. You want to feel like the shit compared to everybody else. That's why people do it. I don't care what they say. That's the reason. It's about peacocking. Look at me. Because you earn that money and you want to go spend that money and you want to have an experience and a story to tell.
That's what I say when I try to look tough. I say I try to peacock people. Show my tattoo. Peacock.
Yeah, so I think that is really, I think, what is missing from clubs nowadays. A lot of clubs, both go-go bars. Yeah, well, no, is that vibe. It's that party atmosphere. It's that hype. It's that, like, energy, and it's like, when you lose the DJ, you lose that person that reads that room. You lose that empath. Right. You lose that person that creates that vibe and the hype. Now you got a bouncer, you got some dude at the friggin' collecting the thing with a wireless mic going, next up to the stage, blah, blah, blah. Like, that dude's not doing it. He's not hype because he doesn't give a shit. He's getting paid regardless, right?
Is that one of the reasons why you left?
No, that's not why I left. No. I mean, I gotta go home eventually, right? No, that's not why.
Why did you leave?
Why did we leave that night? What did I have?
Oh, no, why did you leave DJing?
Oh, why did I leave DJing? Oh, no. I thought you meant the club that night. I'm like, why did I leave that?
You had to leave.
I didn't
you had to DJ.
I had an event in the morning, right?
You had to DJ after. Yeah.
Oh, I did Bugattis that night. That's right. I forgot about that.
After party.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if you want to come, I was like, no.
That's right, because I was like, you guys should come to Bugattis. Which, by the way, I am the resident DJ and booker at Bugattis, which is awesome because it's open at 1 a.m., 1:30.
That's right down here, right?
Yeah, it's right down the street, College Place. It goes till 5 in the morning, house music all night long. I bring in the best house music DJs in Hampton Roads.
There till 6.
Here's what's crazy is but it used to be a nightlife spot where people like the dancers and the bartenders used to come out and party there. So I've been trying to get that again, like, hey, everybody come to Bugattis when you're done. Bring your customers, like your regulars, come out to Bugattis, party. That place is doing it right because that is hype. That it reminds me of a New York style, European style nightclub. Yeah. Like it is house music and dance music all night. Everybody's out there on the floor like, hey, and they're all partying. And like the videos, you see the DJs posting the videos. It's like, it's that shit that got me into DJing.
Right.
And most of the DJs even say like, this is the only club around here where it's like all night. It's like hype as fuck. Like 4 a.m. you got people singing along. Like, it's cool.
I'm tired at like 9:30. Like,
she's not even in work and she's already tired.
Yeah. I'm tired now.
I get it. I'm 45 and I'm still doing that shit. Like, we got a DJ that's 65 at fucking Bugattis. DJ Class. Shout out. This dude is an OG. He started DJing in 1975. And this motherfucker is doing after hours club. Like, and he is a beast. That dude's underground house. Like, he's like, I call him the triple OG. Like, he's just the man. Like, I tell people, he was DJing before you were born. So, and that dude's still
literally.
But why I left was a couple of reasons. I wrote some little notes down, but like one was like it wasn't my age as much because I am 45. I'm one of the older DJs in Hampton Roads, but believe it or not, the average age of most DJs in Hampton Roads, they're pretty old, and we got a lot of old DJs around here.
I don't know of any like younger ones. Like
there are electronic music scene. There's a lot of like 19, 20, 21-year-old DJs.
Like around in this area.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you won't. But the main rotating DJs that do like the big clubs, they're all like 30s, like
still fucking killing
30s and above.
Yeah, still fucking killing.
DJ Silver, dude, DJ'd here. He's like 50-something years old too. Like,
because they've been doing it so long.
Yeah,
they're like really fucking good at it. So they keep them around.
You're right, and also like what is like DJs have forgotten is how to book yourself, how to market yourself, like the business aspect of DJing, right? And also we're professional. Like we go in, we do our job. They know we're not going to run up a bar tab and do stupid shit and bring punks around. So like a lot of the clubs would rather work with an older professional DJ.
Right.
But I left because at the time I had a young daughter. I was still with her mom at the time. Eventually, like 2 years, when she was like 2 years old, me and her split. And so, like, that's about when I really laid off DJing because I was a single dad and I had to learn how to do that, right?
Right.
And I had her the majority of the time. So I'm like, okay, I got to learn how to, like, braid hair and, like, throw tea parties and do all this stuff, right? Because tea party's different than DJing at Mix.
DJs tea parties.
I do DJ for my daughter all the time. She actually, so my daughter is about to turn 6 and she drums. I got her an electric drum set. She drums while I DJ. Like, I'm teaching her to drum, so it's cool. But like that was one of the reasons. Part of the other reason was so while all that was going on, I retired in 2018 from the Coast Guard.
Uh-huh.
I kept DJing, and then I got into the coffee and cigar business. So my first business, I opened up a cigar shop right across the street in that private parking lot over there that I showed you.
Yeah.
I had a really cool trolley. I literally got a trolley car from Rhode Island, turned it into a cigar lounge. It was dope as fuck. Like, it took me a year to get the whole thing off the ground, but it was going. And then COVID hit the night I had my opening event.
God damn COVID
Oh,
fucked
damn.
everything.
Are you gonna redo it? Like, try to reopen it?
Unfortunately, I had to bankrupt that business. I sunk a ton of money into it. So then, also, luckily, right before I started another business with a bunch of veterans. It was my first coffee company. We did that for about 2 years. The partnership kind of soured. We had four owners. Went down to one now. Everybody kind of left. I left the company 2 years ago. Sold my shares. Got picked up by Town Center Cold Pressed as their coffee roaster. Then started my consulting company. I roast for like 5 or 6 different coffee companies. I've got my own now, Mortem Labs, which at the end we'll talk about the link and everything. She modeled my clothes.
Yeah, we'll add all of that.
Yeah, I made her a bikini just for her to
Yeah.
wear.
Oh shit.
Yeah, actually, like with my
That's really
logos on her
cute.
titties, it was awesome. Like, and it had "Calm Like a Bomb" on the butt. Although you forgot to do a butt shot, but
I know.
But it was
it's not
cool.
too late. I can
no, I know
do it.
it was "Calm Like a Bomb," and it had like a pineapple like as a grenade, like
Oh,
with
that's
skeleton hands pulling the pin. It was
Maybe
cool.
I'll bring it when we shoot with Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do the butt. Do the butt. Butt stuff. So we did that, and then I got into the latte syrup business. After going to the coffee expo and meeting the owner of the company, he had no distributor. This was one of those, hey, who's your distributor in the U.S.? Well, I don't have one. And I was like, I'll do it. And it was like, but in my mind, I'm like, I need to start another company. Crap. Like, but I did,
Right.
and that's going really well. So that's kind of why I left. Because to me, so I left, but then I didn't, right?
Yeah.
Because in 2023, the beginning of the year,
We came back.
Bugatti's called me and was like, hey, we need a house music DJ. We let our DJ go. And I was like, I can't do every Friday and Saturday till 5 a.m. Like, I got a kid.
Right.
Like, I just can't do it. I don't have the energy at my age. I said, but instead of being like the resident, why don't I just book you awesome house music DJs? Like, I'll bring in the best DJs from like Sunnyside Collective, Peabody's, all these different promotions and clubs. And then that way we bring in that nightlife crowd. So that has been going on for the last 9 months. And then I also threw a music festival at New Realm Brewing in the spring. Next year I'm throwing it again, and in the spring and fall. So we're doing
So
two next year.
it's yours.
Yes, under one house. You guys can dance for that if you want to. Yeah.
I'm gonna dress up like a giant coffee bean.
Whatever you want. Yeah, big inflatable bean costume. Do it. No, I mean, I'm fine with it. That'd be cool. No, so it's like, so I wanted to do, so basically my dream was to throw a music festival. So in 2022, I was like, you know what? The only thing I haven't done as a DJ is throw a music festival, like my own festival. And I was like, so I was DJing car shows at New Realm, and the GM came out and he's like, oh, you're actually DJing? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, dude, you should do something here. And I was like, I really want to throw a music festival, like all day, big stage, like 10, 11 DJs. He's like, let's do it. So we put it together. We did it. It was called Under One House. It was awesome. I brought in, like I said, Sunnyside Collective, Peabody's DJs, Skybar, like you name it. I just picked DJs from all these different circles, brought them together under one house. That's where that came from.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
when is the next one going to be?
So in the spring, again, we don't have the exact date yet. So we got 9 of the 11 DJs played, and then it got rained out, the last portion. So that's why he wanted to do a fall one. This fall, it was too short a notice. He wanted me to throw one actually at the end for Oktoberfest. And I was like, I need more than 3 weeks to put a festival together. So I said, we had vendors. I mean, it was pretty cool. We had an inflatable, a big all white inflatable bounce house. Like, it was dope. Like, it was a dope festival.
All the drunk people.
Yeah, it was fun. All the DJs, like for the DJs, I actually got them steins with their logo on it.
Oh,
so
that's
like
cool.
every DJ had their own stein, and then I got a keg for just the DJs. So the
Oh,
DJs
that's cool.
basically just like free beer all night. So it was dope. So anyway, we're gonna do that again. But that's kind of what brought me back in. And then of course, like the DJs that I worked with, like Sunnyside is a big promotion in the area. They do stuff at Waterside and stuff. So John Jay Parrish, he was like, hey, let me book you for this and let me book you for that. So I've done some Peabody's nights. So I would say like I'm back, but I'm back in like a limited capacity.
Right. So
It's
what
like-
he's saying is he has 2 businesses that can sponsor the podcast.
Yeah. Mortem Labs will sponsor. I'll do that shit.
Yeah. Because
You just gotta wear like Mortem Labs. So this is a Mortem Labs shirt. Give me coffee or give me dead.
I like
Because we want to do a Zydeco. That'd be a good promotion.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm in.
So
Let's We'll talk.
Someone stole your car. That's the third.
Right? That would be
The third.
You
Yeah.
gotta tell them what happened real quick. What happened when we pulled up in this bitch?
A fucking.
you got to put the video in the podcast.
Oh god, yeah, I gotta wait for insurance for that one. A fucking lime bicycle blew off of the sidewalk into the side of my car.
You tell them what happened the day before?
The day before, my ceiling in my living room, dining room fell in.
Like the whole ceiling.
The
came
whole
down.
ceiling.
Yeah, I
And
have pictures of that too.
I have to get the entire ceiling replaced.
Yeah.
Entire.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to patch it because if it fell in one area, it's going to fall in another area.
Yeah. And
Like front,
it's
back,
being,
or just-
it's, yeah, all of it. Like,
you have a hole in your ceiling?
no.
Oh.
You know, my whole life just crashing down on me. We were able to screw it like what was like low
Yeah.
up there for temporary because they can't do anything until the insurance.
Of course. Yeah,
people
yeah,
come
yeah. You
Yeah.
don't want to.
out. So, yeah, I'm fucking.
I like the look of the exposed beams. It's very
I feel like you should
HGTV.
put
I
some-
wish I could. I
some,
wish I
like-
could vault the ceilings. I'm like, man,
hate you.
I do like that it's open and airy, but I need this shit done
See, look,
before
it's
it gets
positive
cold.
thinking. That's positive. Positive
I mean,
thoughts.
Like the only reason I'm not freaking out about both of these situations is because I have insurance.
That's why
So
we have it.
I have a feeling something is gonna happen to me because I have insurance, like health insurance. So
Don't think that
if
way.
we're
You're going to manifest
if
that
we're
shit.
doing the insurance thing, I think we might be,
Through strikes.
So I'm gonna just sit in my house like this.
Maybe
for the
you
next
put the
couple
Lime
days.
video and maybe Lime will sponsor the podcast.
Fuck, they better, man. Like, just buff this bitch out.
That looks crazy in the
No,
video
there's
because
no
it
pumping
didn't.
that
It wasn't like it went like this.
Yeah.
It just was like
It literally,
solid, and then it just went. Boop.
it literally looked like a ghost.
Yeah, it
just
looked like
fucking
it pushed it.
pushed it over. And like, I go and talk to these the security, and first off, I don't look like I should be walking in this building anyway. Like, and they're like, "Can we help you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Your security cameras out front?" Because you're like, "What about them?" I was like, "Can I?" I was like, "Am I able to like get them?" And he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "You're not gonna fucking believe this."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, they you'd be surprised. Like I said, we're at the corner of downtown Norfolk right now in a closed down coffee shop that's closed to the public.
Yeah.
That we're just
Spooky.
I'm doing stuff out of here temporarily until I move out of this location. And I have seen the craziest stuff downtown Norfolk has to offer. Like you
Yeah.
think like it's a nice building, but I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that happens out front on the streets,
Not
like
very nice.
oh no sir. When I had my cigar shop across the street, I like first day in the cigar shop, me and my dad was visiting. We sat out front. We're like, let's go sit out front and have a cigar. We hadn't built the patio yet or anything like that. So we sat out front. And we're sitting there. We're smoking a cigar. And I'll never forget. The dude rolls up, puts his bike on the kickstand, walks 5 feet to the Wells Fargo ATM. Right? He's at the ATM, and this dude comes running down the block. I'm talking. This dude was like sprinting. Right? Jumps like a long jumper, like in the track and field, and lands on the bicycle.
And takes it.
As he lands on the bicycle, his feet hit the pedals like perfect. And he immediately started pedaling. And this dude, I wish I could have videoed it. I was in awe watching this. And he bucked around the corner. Whoosh. That dude was halfway down this block before the guy at the ATM realized what happened. He turned around and was like, my bike! What the fuck? And he turns around and that dude was gone. Like he was gone. And that was back before they knocked the projects down like up
Yeah.
the street. He went right into there. So I remember like watching security came out and they like tried to pull the video
Crazy.
and figured out. It was the craziest bike theft I've ever seen. That's the kind of shit that happens on this block. So
Is there anything else you want to plug in?
no, I mean I would just like to say, to the club owners out there, especially the dance club owners where y'all work, is get some damn DJs, man. Like I know it's a couple extra $100, but like vibe and atmosphere is super important. And if you get the right DJ, he's gonna create that. There's nightclubs. I'm not gonna name any names, but there's nightclubs that want to literally on slow nights do Spotify instead of a DJ because they just don't want to spend that $200. And I'm just like, dude, it's $200.
But you'll
Like,
make that back.
and most DJs will bring people out. Like
Yeah.
generally, my friends that come out are going to spend more drinking than you're going to pay me.
Right.
So it's like that alone pays for itself.
Yeah.
But
And most places have like a cover charge too. So
Some do, some don't around here.
Right.
It's cover charge is weird in this area. But,
Yeah, it is.
I've never had a cover charge.
really weird. No, I was gonna say, when do you pay a cover charge, please?
Never.
In New York,
Oh,
In New York, everybody pays
and
cover
we couldn't
charge.
get in without a man.
we weren't allowed in the strip club without a man.
We had a peaky promise we were going to be good.
Really?
Literally, we peaky
Wow.
promised this man, the
Yeah.
bouncer, that we wouldn't talk to the customer. And of course,
Oh, because he probably thought you were gonna try to
Yeah, right. And as
Yeah.
soon as customers came in, they saw us and tried to talk to us. And we're
And I
like,
was
nope.
like, nope.
Nope.
And you're like, you're
that makes sense because if you see two girls by themselves, yeah,
We were
I get that.
tipping.
But we were tipping.
We're like,
And
we have money. We
Yeah.
want to throw it.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, that's New York. But yeah, so but that's it with that, and I just thank you guys for giving me
Yeah.
a chance to
thank
reminisce
you.
about
This
some old
freaking coffee was
stories and
amazing.
We'll plug in
Um,
your stuff.
yeah. So like I said, Mortem Labs is my personal coffee brand. I'm an artisan, roaster. I got into coffee when I was in the military. I would spend a lot of time in South America. Ended up again kind of linking up with the right people. It's all about who you meet, right? And
Right.
as you can tell, I talk, so I always meet people.
Yeah, you do.
And I do. I'm a motor mouth, man. But that's how I get into a lot of the shit that I get into. I talk my way into it, and
Nothing wrong with that.
but I love coffee is my passion and my craft. So like I said, I DJ kind of still on occasion.
Right.
Coffee is my thing, and that's something I'm going to continue with. So we'll get you the links. We do a lot of cool apparel.
So what's your Instagram?
My personal Instagram is it's the real Mikey V, and it's like R3AL. So the real Mikey V. That's my DJ personal one. Mortem Labs is my coffee Instagram, so you can check that out. That's it. Yeah, we're gonna come out with cool new shirts. My artist does some dope shit. She's gonna model. I made her like my Instagram. She's like my Mortem Labs model. So
Yeah.
which is funny because when I came up with the brand, I remember saying to myself like, Victoria would be the perfect model for the brand.
And
Like-
here I am.
But then she contacted me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, if you want me to model some of your stuff, like I'll totally do it." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I made that shit happen with my mind. Like I manifested that, and then that's where that came from. So it's cool. My most viewed photos are the ones of you, of course.
It's because my ass is out. I'm so
Everything's out. That's not all. It's
I'm not scared.
I'm not scared.
But yeah, but we'll get you some stuff too.
Hell
and,
yeah.
sport it. And,
We can mod together.
Yeah.
well, you guys got the new.
Photos.
I gave you guys the music festival shirt, so you guys got to do some cool pictures with the music
We'll do it
festival
with
shirts.
business.
Yeah.
We'll do it promotional.
You do you fucking selfie that shit. So,
Oh, I mean, but if we have a professional
well, that's
photographer.
yeah, I mean, whatever.
Well, thanks for
Yes.
joining us.
Thank you guys. And,
Hell yeah, this is
Yeah.
I would like to say also, if you're not out supporting these ladies, get your ass out to the club. Victoria is amazing on stage and in the private VIP. I'm not gonna talk about what happened. No, I'm just kidding. What happens?
Whoa.
I'm kidding. No, she's awesome, and even just talking, like we were just talking back there, like we were just
I'm
shooting
good
the
at
shit.
talking.
And then bartending. You were my bartender that night. You didn't
Yeah.
know me then, so you didn't know you were my bartender, but
Yeah. We were
You
busy.
came in there for us.
yeah, awesome bartender. Next time I'll actually say hi to you.
Yeah.
She does dances too.
You do dance?
So she does dances.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now
you
you
did the
do.
one.
Yeah.
Now
When it's
you
not
fucking do.
busy, when it's
Well,
slow.
there you go.
Yeah.
So hop in and see them. Follow them on social media too.
Yes.
And I'm gonna make sure I post this on my stuff. So if you're one of my friends or followers listening,
I'll
follow these
collab with
ladies.
you on Instagram.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
I put
Absolutely.
this isn't coming out until like 3
Oh yeah,
weeks from now.
yeah. You gotta process it and all that
Yeah.
shit. So,
So, well, thanks for joining us. I'm Victoria.
I'm Sarah D.
like you be.
Bye.